Hey guys, what's happening? It's Clay K here from Baseball Real Talk. Today we're going to talk about two West Coast teams and their free agent needs. Let's jump right into it. The first team we're going to talk about today is the Anaheim Angels. I know we've all heard it, they need starting pitching. Well, Perry Manassian, the new GM, has been talking about run prevention. Run prevention, run prevention. But let's face it, the best way to keep runs off the board is to get better starting pitching. And better relief pitching for that fact. And there's plenty of starting pitching out there to grab this year. The first free agent we're going to talk about is, of course, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is the top pitching free agent on the market right now. He had an extraordinary year last year with the Reds, Cy Young, and he is the guy everyone's talking about for the Angels to pick up. Now, in my opinion, I think Trevor Bauer is a little bit too much money for the Angels to pull out on one guy, since they've already signed Anthony Rendon. They're finishing up Albert Pujols' contract. They have, of course, Mike Trout's contract. I think he's a little bit too much money. He would be a great addition for the Angels, no doubt, but is he really worth it? He's asking for $30 million plus a year. That just seems a little too steep in my opinion, when there's plenty of second-tier free agents on the market that can do just as well, I think, if you gave them the shot. Some of the big names still out there: Jake Odorizzi, Masahiro Tanaka, James Paxton, Jose Quintana. Those would all be great pickups for the Angels. And some of them you're going to be able to get a great deal on. Now, in my opinion, I think the Angels aren't just one starting pitcher away from curing their problem. That's why I like to shy away from the Trevor Bauer deal. I think he could be an ace candidate over there for the Angels and maybe even help some of the other starting pitching that the Angels already have. But the problem is, he's so much money, the Angels won't be able to get anybody else. I think if they went after someone like James Paxton, Jose Quintana, Jake Odorizzi, Masahiro Tanaka, I think not only would they spend less money on them, but then that would allow them to get another starting pitcher, another relief pitcher that would really help the Angels build some depth in their much-needed bullpen. Some other pretty cheap names out there: Tyler Chatwood, Jake Arrieta, Taijuan Walker, even Trevor Williams from the Pirates. These are some guys that you could get for a low dollar and just roll the dice on them. I think they're not done yet. I think they have some good years left in them. I think especially Taijuan Walker or even a Trevor Williams would be a great pickup for the Angels. Trevor Williams 2 years ago had a 3.11 ERA and was 14-10 with the Pirates. I don't think he's done. He's had a few injuries that plagued 2019 and the 2020 season, but I think he's not done, and I think he could do some really good things with the Angels. Tyler Chatwood in 2019 had a 3.76 ERA, and in 2020, he had 4 or 5 games there where he was untouchable. I had him in my fantasy league. I was stoked to have him. He was just scoring me points left and right. He was killing it in 2020. Then he had some blow-up games which shot his ERA up, I think, north of 4 after some arm injuries, but I think he still got it. And yet, if the Angels picked him up, he'd be going back to his old manager, Joe Maddon. I don't think that's a bad pickup. I think the Angels would be smart to do it this way. Trevor Bauer is great, and I would love him to be on the Angels, but I think that he's too much money, and he's going to end up being a big contract that drags them down in the future. I think the Angels picking up Kurt Suzuki was a good move. I mean, he's 37 years old, but he's hitting .277 last year. I think he hit .290 the year before. You know what? He's still got some life in him, and I think that veteran catcher role in the dugout, in the clubhouse, is something that the Angels really need. So I think it was a good pickup for a cheap 1-year salary. I think that was a good move on the Angels' part. I think if they went out and signed a Jock Peterson to a 1-year deal, if they could get him for a cheap contract, that would be wondrous. Because right now they have Justin Upton in left, Mike Trout in center, and then right field is kind of a question mark as far as we see on their roster. Yes, they have Joe Adell, but after last season, seeing what he did, I'm not sure if he's ready to take over that position. I also think Brandon Marsh is a stud, but let's face it, he's been in AAA. He hasn't had much MLB time, if any. I think he got injured in spring training last season, which kept him off the field during the 2020 season. But I think if you gave him a shot, he could perform. But again, it's a question mark, and I think the Angels are trying to get rid of as many question marks as they possibly can. So signing a Jock Peterson to a 1-year deal would kind of help fill that role, especially when you have any righty pitchers pitching. He could just take over. You know he's going to play well. You know he's going to hit you 25, 30 jacks throughout the year, and that's something that the Angels could definitely use. All right, now let's get to the Dodgers. I think there is no reason that the Dodgers shouldn't win the World Series for a second time. They have a great team. They didn't lose many guys to free agency this year. I think if they were smart and they went out and they re-signed Justin Turner, I know he's looking for a 3-year deal. You know what? I think what he's done with the Dodgers, maybe you just give it to him. I think he's going to do great. And let's face it, You guys just won last year with this lineup. Why would you change anything? The only reason I wouldn't re-sign Justin Turner right now to a 3-year deal is if for some reason the Dodgers think that they can get Arenado from the Rockies. Think about it. If you had Nolan Arenado at third base, Corey Seager at shortstop, that could be the best left side of the infield in baseball. So if they can make that happen, then I think that's a great move. Let's go for that. But you know what? That sounds a little far-fetched to me. I think the Dodgers could just safen their bet and re-sign Justin Turner. I think they should re-sign Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez was great for them last season. How many times does a guy have to come off the bench and hit a winning home run for you guys to give him another contract? I mean, the guy is great in those types of situations. Not only could he really fill a role at second base along with Gavin Lux, I think he would just be the guy to bring in those tight situations where you need a base hit. And for you to give him up when you guys could get him for a relatively cheap contract, especially right now with everything going on, I think it would be dumb for the Dodgers not to re-sign him. Now let's get to the Dodgers rotation. The Dodgers rotation is still awesome. They have Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw. I think Julio Urias is going to have a great season this season. I mean, we saw what he did in the playoffs and what he did in the World Series. I mean, that is against some of the best hitting teams in baseball, and he was dominant. I think he's going to be a stud for the Dodgers. Now, the number 4 and number 5 guys, Dustin May, Tony Gonzalez, I think they are going to kill it as well. I think they're young, and I think they're going to need some time to mature, but following Clayton Kershaw, following Walker Buehler, I think they are going to learn a lot, and I think you're going to see them start to outperform what they did last year and the year before. Now on to the Dodgers bullpen. I think the Dodgers bullpen is pretty solid. They just signed Blake Treinen, which I think was a great idea. 2 years ago, this guy had one of the best ERAs in baseball and was the best closer in baseball. So signing him to a 2-year deal was a great move for the Dodgers. I think Kenley Jansen's getting old, and you know what? Even though I love Kenley Jansen and I think he could do a lot still to this day, it's nice to have a Blake Treinen or a Gratterall to back him up in case something goes down. Injury-wise, or just performance-wise, I think you're going to want to stack that bullpen with as many closer opportunity type guys that you possibly can. Like I said before, I think the Dodgers have it again to win the World Series. I really do. You know that saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it? Well, I think the Dodgers should just keep continuing to do what they did last year. They got Cody Bellinger back off of arbitration. They really just have the team to win it. I think you put Chris Taylor and Pollock out there in left field. You put Kike Hernandez and Gavin Lux in second base. You try to get Arenado from the Rockies, which I would just say would be the best move the Dodgers could make if they can do it. If not, you re-sign Justin Turner. I mean, you guys have the team to do it all over again. Well, guys, I hope you liked this video. It was a lot of fun. If you could do me a favor, please subscribe, please like, please comment. I want to hear from you guys on your thoughts, what you think about the Dodgers and the Angels. I'm going to be doing more videos like this coming up. I'm trying to release 2 videos a week, so stay tuned. There's going to be plenty more content coming. You can also follow me on Twitter. I have the link below. Please check us out. And again, thank you guys. Can't wait for the 2021 baseball season.